Hi everyone, this is Andrew Kimmons with Kimmons Toolworks, and today I am at one of my lathes working on something a little bit different. Part of the reason why I like to do custom orders and let the customer kind of choose the way they want to go with a lot of things is so that I get to do the problem solving of figuring out how to make these things work out. It's a lot of fun to me to not always just be doing the exact same repetitious stuff. So this had turned into something that I've been trying to figure out, off and on for a few days. And as normal as I usually do, I kind of just have to jump in and start tinkering. And it's a particular way that a handle goes together, and it's something that I've never done before, so I figured this would be a good opportunity to include everyone in sort of my problem-solving video, something that I do a whole lot of. Now, as many of you know, I do offer blued accessories on chisels, like end caps and sockets and things like that. Now, where it becomes difficult is when you're dealing with building and finishing a handle with a blued end cap. As many of you know, a blued finish is just exactly that. It's a finish. It can very easily come off with sanding or finishing. So when I go to, normally I'll have the cap on before the handle's turned. In an instance like this, we just can't do that. It doesn't work because in finishing the handle, it could get, touched with a tool. It could, obviously get hit with some sandpaper, and then the entire thing is ruined. And then we would have to scrap the handle, especially when you're dealing with exotic woods. That sucks. So what I'm doing today is I'm figuring out a method, and it has to be accurate. It has to be an accurate way of doing this, to attach the end cap to a handle that is already completed and finished and have a perfect seam. And not just a perfect seam, it has to be perfectly flush. And that right there can get just a little bit complicated in these types of things, because normally I shoot for that perfect fit where you can't feel anything, so much with your fingernail or anything. It almost just looks like it's one piece. And so to take two pieces without any real custom fitting and make them one piece, kind of complicated. But I devised a method to do it, and I think it's going to work. This is what I've been thinking on and tinkering with the last couple of days. Now, and I'll probably share some pictures of these maybe on social media and stuff, but these are some blued accessories right here. I don't want to flip the camera off, but here's the blued accessories for a chisel that I'm making, a blued socket. And here's the blued end cap. And we don't want to end up touching this rim and, destroying it, because then the whole project is scrapped. So what I've done is I've come over here to my metal lathe. I have a custom tool that I made for cutting wood on a metal lathe, and I'll pan the camera down and show you kind of what I'm doing right here. This is what I have devised, is to pretty much turn the handle, get the back prepped for the end cap, come over to here, turn everything, because the cap measurements are 1.190 inches. I used very, very weird dimensions in everything I do. And largely it's because I can authenticate my tools extremely easily by a whole bunch of very simple measurements. I know my measurements are very precise, and someday if there ends up being, fraudulent ones or fakes on the market, I could very easily identify them with a couple basic measurements. Looking at them, I could tell very easily if I made it or not. But see, right now, and that's what I like about this, is I can get things perfectly round on here. This is an M42 cutting tool that I use on this, and this is part of my dust collection setup for it. I moved that out of the way for the video. But basically, what I determined I needed to do was to make the hole for it, make it exactly the right size for a snug fit. Then come over here, sync it up with my tailstock. This is a pretty big one compared to what I use on my wood lathe, so it fits that 3/8 hole nicely right there. And get everything, I'll roll it, well, you really can't tell, but just get everything perfectly in sync. And a lot of times, I always test concepts in a cheap wood with things. I may do it 5 or 6 times before I actually do the real run of putting the real tool together, because the real tool is going to have blued accessories. It's a CPM M4 dovetail chisel, and I don't want to ruin, it's going into Bubinga. So this is the fit that I was able to achieve, and it's within a couple thousandths, which is good. This is what we want. We wanted a couple thousandths oversized, because this is going to allow me to do some sand finishing on this and then permanently affix the cap on the completed handle. So this is kind of a backwards way of doing what I normally do, and it's entertaining. It's an interesting look at it. This one's a little bit oversized for play, and I'll probably take a couple more dry runs at it before I do the real one. But I thought I would share this with everybody because this is kind of unique and interesting, and it's a bit backwards from my normal procedure. But this chisel is going to be really unique. It's going to be the blued socket, a blued end cap, a Bubinga handle, and with this is going to get completed today as well. This is a CPM M4 dovetail chisel in 3/8. This is the first CPM M4 dovetail chisel. And I would also like to mention today that I previously didn't officially take orders in CPM M4 because it has taken me, I've been heat treating CPM M4 for at least a year and a half, trying to figure it out. And I've had a lot of little stumbles and failures along the way. I've wasted a lot of CPM M4 trying to get it figured out. And I've always known what the potential of it really is because I've hit that potential. And it's just about hitting that potential consistently without warpage, without cracking. I know a lot of them have turned out good otherwise, but then when I do some inspection like dye penetrant in a particular, you know, with a new heat treatment method I'm trying, I'll see some cracking and stuff like that. So I've wanted to limit those strictly to the little sprint runs and things like that when I have the time to devote to really figuring everything out to the best of my ability. But I think I'm ready officially to take actual custom orders in CPM M4. It has taken me a long time to figure out exactly how I wanted everything to go to where I could consistently reach that optimum potential of CPM M4 and end up without the warpage, because that's always the thing. You can't have the warpage, especially when you get into making really thin tools like that. I know you really probably can't tell super well, but you don't want warpage, and that's a good place to start right there. So I'll be moving on to finish grinding this after I get the handles done. Today I have a few other kind of oddballs that I'd like to get wrapped up before the end of the week, but I thought that this would be a cool thing to let everybody, you know, get to see the real me in the process of figuring out something I've never done before. And I'm usually confident taking on things I've never done before because I know that regardless of what it takes, you know, it may not be a profitable endeavor for me, but I won't give up until I do get it one way or another. I don't care if it takes me, you know, 100 times of doing it, I will get it. I'm the kind of guy that'll be out here until midnight if I have to, for weeks on end to figure something out if I have to. So anyway, that's a little bit of this process and my problem solving and figuring everything out for this. And key takeaway, you can order things in CPM M4. I'm confident doing that now. It's just a very time-consuming thing to deal with. M4 is time-consuming on every single level. It's time-consuming to heat treat. It's time-consuming to grind. Just tempering, we're not talking like the quench or anything like that. I temper them for 6 hours. That's just tempering. So it's a very time consuming endeavor. So that's why the blade itself is, you know, 2 or 3 times the price of one in A2. And the material itself is not cheap. And frankly, it's hard to get sometimes, especially in some particular sizes. But anyway, yes, if you would like to order anything in CPM-M4, even dovetail chisels now, since I've got my processes figured out, you go ahead and email me at andrew@kimmonshandtools.com and we'll talk about it. With the mortise chisels and CPM-M4, I'm not sure, because I would have to actually procure material for that. I don't know where I would get the material to start with, but I do have a couple suppliers I could talk to if you were interested in mortise chisels and CPM-M4. So that's all I've got for now, and I hope you guys enjoyed this little bit of an insight. And yep, andrew@kimmonshandtools.com if you want to, if you have any questions or want to order anything like that. And please remember to like the video and share it so that we can reach more people. And I think these are going to start getting pretty interesting as I get into the process a little bit. So have a great day out there, everyone.